start out with an idea, and sometimes I don't. But when I put my pen to paper, ideas somehow start to flow. The more you create, the more you're going to generate ideas. Creativity and productivity might seem to be opposites. You might think that productivity is exclusively right-brained, methodical, analytical, organized. On the other hand, creativity might be stereotyped as unorganized and out there. But truthfully, the two are deeply connected, and they balance each other out in the work that we do as well as in our everyday life. By the end of today's episode, you're going to have 5 easy tips to balance your creativity and productivity at the same time. After putting them into play, you'll be less stressed, you'll have more energy that you can reinvest into your personal life and into your work. My name's Cassie Rose, and I'm so glad you've joined us. If it's your first time here, go ahead and subscribe and like this video if this is the type of content that you're into. Let's get into it. To be creative is to be able to use your imagination or original ideas to create something. Every business person that I know always wants higher productivity, and their levels of creativity always come in very handy in this quest. With proper nurturing and development, creativity almost always leads to higher productivity in a work environment. We are innately creative. Nurturing this aspect of ourselves in healthy ways allows all of our talents and capabilities to grow in all different ways in our lives. Encourage yourself to be creative in small ways, like writing down notes in colorful ink, putting post-it notes places, doodling in the margins. Embark on new creative adventures, like listening to music or dancing around as you stretch and get out of your comfort zone. Learn new skills. Learning creative skills like graphic design or photography can help you at your daily job to provide less stress and help free your mind. It also gives you perspective that allows you to see the bigger picture, in turn creating a better job satisfaction and synergy all around. This can foster leadership, innovation, courage. These are all really key components to productivity, and they're sparked by being creative. So we're going to talk about some key components in sparking this balance between creativity and productivity. Number 1, you want to keep your office space clean. This doesn't sound important to some people. Some of you know, though, it really is. And few people really take advantage of the boosted levels of productivity and creativity that come from a clean office space. Several studies show, they point out that working in a cluttered office space or a work environment can lead to lower productivity and lower creativity levels. Workers are reported to be lazier, sluggish when they're surrounded by all of this clutter. So encourage yourself to promote some daily tidying effects if you want to boost your creativity and your productivity levels. It's going to really help clear things up. Second, what we would like to do is promote creativity to remove the fear of failure. We really want to remove this fear of failure. A key component for fostering a creative environment is giving people the room to fail and removing the stigma of failure altogether. The fear of failure cripples creative environments, and it hamstrings the flow of ideas, and ultimately it keeps us from being productive. Fear keeps us coloring between the lines, removing all possibilities of improving, streamlining, or creating new and more effective ways to work. Ideally, failure that arises in the pursuit of new ideas needs to be celebrated because it encourages creative thinking. Without that, it's almost impossible to realize new productivity heights. Number 3, we want to save high priority tasks for our flow hours. And if you want to learn more about what this idea of flow is, feel free to go to dwenday.com. We have tons of articles about this on our blog. But creativity works in these hours. It ebbs and it flows naturally during the peak hours or the time of day when you're most productive, which can vary from person to person. And consistently trying to work against your natural clock and rhythm can mean consistently setting yourself up for failure. For most people, highly productive hours take place in the morning, but this isn't the truth for everyone. But research on ultradian rhythms indicates that most people run in productivity cycles from 90 to 120 minutes that happen within the 24 hours of the day. These are based on our circadian rhythms, which you may have heard of before. Almost no one focuses well for more than 120 minutes. Isn't that incredible? We need breaks. Everybody needs breaks. You just need to find your body's own cycles. In the book, A Life of Productivity by Chris Bailey, he recommends recording energy and focus and motivation scores for yourself, kind of keeping track of it in a notebook, writing down what times, what foods you ate, all these different things to track data. And don't overthink it, but just collect this information. And ideally you would do this for about 3 weeks at a time. And once you do this, you can see how the levels shift throughout your day. What times are you most productive? It probably is going to create a rhythm or a pattern that you can track and utilize. And then you'll use those hours. Next, we want to foster creativity in a way that shows you that you can change your workplace, whether this is your physical surroundings or your overall organization. Letting people make visible, tangible changes on their work environment, such as decoration, is a powerful motivator. No one wants to feel like a drone, mindlessly working through a task list, having no apparent meaning or impact. A deliberate policy in businesses, letting people know that they can make visible changes, such as adding artwork or personal photos to their workspace, can really impact their work environment, and it's a powerful motivator for people to be more productive. Allowing them to think about ways to change their work environment for the better somehow makes them create more and produce more. Nurturing a creative workplace is able to give all workers a voice for their ideas, no matter how stupid they may seem at first, because remember, we're removing this fear of failure and allowing someone to put art on their wall saying, I have ownership here, I can take control of my space here, gives employees kind of that ownership in other realms to say, I have an idea and I have something that I think we could try. Now, if you are a boss, implementing this could really help your business specifically, but if you're an employee or maybe you work for yourself, this is a great way to tangibly take control of the creativity in your life. I talk about this on my Instagram all the time, but this is my keyboard. And I have this keyboard at home and at work. I have this keyboard everywhere because it's cute and it's fun and I like it. And if you want to boost your productivity a little, if you want to boost your creativity, think outside of the box and make your environment creative. Some people don't work that way naturally, and that's okay. But you also, you analytical people, you have a way of being creative in and of itself. So this is how ideas transfer from person to person. This is how you boost productivity, by fostering this creative environment. And this isn't just a boon to boost productivity. It's a pleasant side effect because you're also improving loyalty and satisfaction in people overall. This last one is one of my favorites. It's very scientific, and it is optimize your neurochemical balance. What does this mean? Creativity loves the right neurochemical balance in your brain. To get your creative productivity flow going, you need serotonin and dopamine. You may have heard of these before. They come from exercise, they come from sunlight. So how do you optimize the neurochemical balance in your brain? It's a must to start reducing stress. Stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol actually chase away the creativity enhancing effects of serotonin. They also cause problems like higher blood pressure, and they can detract from your brain's overall ability to relax and focus on cognitive work. When you're under stress, you're less likely to be open to new ideas. And when we're stressed, we prefer the familiar. So we're going to evade creativity. Maximize the times when you experience elevated serotonin, whenever they are, by choosing, or initiate them, by choosing high protein foods, healthy foods that support your brain function. And coffee affects these chemicals too. And many of you know I am more coffee obsessed than almost anybody you will find, but I also I identify the fact that coffee affects the chemicals in my brain, and I know when I need to take a break from it. So these chemicals have a really big impact. One last thing that I want you to remember is getting up and moving your body is very important in releasing these chemicals and really producing the right chemical balance in your brain. That was a lot of information, but to close it out, having a creative outlet gives you something to look forward to. It can bring another side of yourself to light so that you can connect with others in a more meaningful way. And if you're truly inspired, you might find yourself working for hours on end on a creative venture or even an analytical one. Creativity helps you invest in yourself in multiple ways. You'll be building talents or helping yourself to become the best version of you possible by letting yourself explore a little bit. I hope that this was helpful to you. If it was, please give a thumbs up to this video, like it down below, that really helps me. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Wednesday, and we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday.